I created a new committee, and that committee was called the Administration Methodologies Committee. And it was a committee that the only charge they had was to go out there and find out how we can administer the examination using a computer.
Changing the exam from paper and pencil 4-day marathon to having it on a computer where people who take it can do it as their life allows them to do it. That's huge.
At the time, in 1988, there were no computer-based exams for any professions. So part of what we did was work with our exam vendor, which at the time was Educational Testing Service, ETS, to go out and look at models that were being explored by different entities. There really weren't PCs yet. There were these big networks, and NCARB had them to do data retrieval and data storage. People were not used to working on computers at all.
Well, there were a lot of us that knew a little bit, and I don't think many of us knew a whole lot about computers. We'd started using them in our practices at that point in time, and we thought there ought to be a way that the exam can be simplified.
I went to a lot of committee meetings about the exam. We had ETS working with our exam people. There was a lot of promise of what this exam was going to be.
We did some alpha and beta testing. We used 5 U.S. states and 1 Canadian province, where we had a few hundred first-time candidates take the design exam portions on computer. So we launched that in, like I said, 6 jurisdictions in February, I think, of '96, and then we launched the full exam in February of '97.
There was great calamity with it and a lot of stress, which was not fun. A lot of people didn't sign up for the exam. There was concern over the money and whether it would be a success.
The computerization of the exam, the development of the exam through each of its phases, the delivery of it were key issues, not only from the content and the technical aspects, but from the cost aspects. Enormous costs that were associated with the exam and how we were going to fund them.
I inherited every iota of people's upset about what everyone referred to as the $1,000 exam. And I wound up having to explain to a lot of people how NCARB worked, how the ARE was developed, why it did what it did, why it cost what it did. It requires several hundred architects meeting several times a year.
I think what we've arrived at is a superb exam. It's where we need to be right now for the profession, and I think it does a really good job at testing candidates, making sure they're qualified to be licensed.
I think it's important for the exam to evolve because architecture is changing all the time too. Things are constantly changing and nothing's static, so you always have to be evolving with that as well.
That has brought them into the 21st century. It's like there's no way, I can't imagine, that they could still be in existence if they didn't have a computerized exam.